Alright, I'm going to do a short video this week. We're going to talk about the power wagon that got me into power wagons. That's this one right here. I call it my little green. I bought this when I was 17. It was actually, I got it from a guy who was buying cars from I think it was a police auction. So stuff that had been towed and impounded. It looked a little different than this. Still got the same paint. It needs new paint. It was still stock height, smaller wheels and tires. Didn't have all the memorabilia in the back window. It's all leftover stuff from high school. But did have the mud flap girls on it and the sticker that's on the tailgate. But anyways, let me turn the camera around here. Okay, so this is a 1975 W100 Power Wagon. It is an adventure sport model. There's my very crusty looking mud flap girls. This spot has been here the whole time I've owned it, or the paint's flaked off. I did put new exhausts on it with nice stainless tips several years ago. I put the mud flaps on it. These are just some old wheels and tires that I actually got off of a Ram Charger I had, but when I first lifted it, it had these tires that I'd gotten off of a different truck that I got the lift kit off of. This one has a Chrysler 9 1/4 rear end. So it's the heavier half-ton rear end. It's the 5-on 4.5 bolt pattern like the car. So small 5-lug adventure sport model. So for 75, had the big wide rocker panel trim, the wheel well trim. It has, it's not on here, but I have the stainless molding from a drip rail. Got the taillight trim. Got the big wide tailgate trim. Of course, adventure sport on the quarter panels, or the back bed corners. Let's see, you also got the stainless on your wing window, the stainless on your windshield, and of course, you know, it's a trim all the way up front to rear. So, and if you had like the two-tone paint job like this truck does, it would have had this trim going across the back of the cab, which this truck's been repainted. It was fairly new paint when I got it. It has weathered very badly. I used to take this thing up in the woods and go off-roading, so the bed has met the cab a few times, and truck box lid, one of the old truck boxes, the one that was in it used to hit that when I opened it. This one's a different one, because that one got broke into, the one that was in it when I got it. It used to have a big trim, like an aftermarket tailgate guard on here, and it had rubbed that pretty bad. This is damage from, again, being off-road. The bed twisted, you open the tailgate, there's a little bit of stress crack, and, you know, it hooks it and bends it out. It's kind of hard because I really don't want to restore this truck. I just like driving it. I haven't driven it much lately though, because it's got ball joint problems, and I think the wheel bearings are bad. And I have a stripped one of these, I think it's this one, is stripped out. I can't get the lug nut on or off of it, so I just decided for safety I should just park it until I put the time aside to actually fix the front end correctly. I had a trailer roll on me in the yard, and it hit my other light, and it didn't damage it when it hit it, but when I pulled the trailer away, it kind of hooked onto it, and it twisted it, because these are mounted on this brush guard on the side. It hooked onto it, and it ripped it out this way and pulled the bolt out of my KC, so that's a bummer. This bumper was straight, but let's see, where is it? Right here. This I bumped into those, those big concrete blocks. I'd show you, but the sun's just glaring over there. Bumped into that one day, things happen. Had the Mac Bulldog. It's a real one. It says Mac on there. I don't know if you can see it. Where is it under there? It's not focusing very good, but real deal, old school Mac's got screws to the hood. Of course, it has just beat the hood up over the years. And of course, it's a power wagon. So, got the power wagon. Got a tractor coming down the road. There goes the tractor. Bunch of noise. They had added these little chrome grab handles on. I actually put these on. These are actual meant for a Chevy, but they fit pretty good other than where I mounted them. I tried to use I used the original holes for the factory mirror, and it was a little bit high. So that's it doesn't fit nice and flush there, but the rest of it fits pretty good. So the funny thing, I mean, the curve's a little off on the metal here, but gotta have vent shades. These things are nice because you can leave the window down. And so I got my fingers on there. Leave the windows cracked, and especially here in Oregon, helps keep the moisture content down. This is a in-cab fuel tank truck. It does have the filler cap here, but this truck never had the extra fuel tank mounted underneath of it, so that's just bolted onto the side of the bed. And I've had a lot of gas station attendants try to get that off, and they never were successful. I forgot to grab my keys, but this is working pretty good. So adventure sport thing, it has the wood grain. This one came with the clock dash. You can see right there where my fingers, making it blurry. Clock dash. It does have an aftermarket tack over there. There was an option for a tachometer over there on the other side of the gauge cluster. I got a nice aftermarket Grant steering wheel in there. These are the buddy bucket seats that came in the Macho Power Wagons, the Little Red Express trucks, the Warlocks, or you could order them. But I got these, I bought this truck, and I actually bought another Macho Power Wagon, like this red one, but it was yellow Macho Power Wagon. Not that that really matters, but that's where I got the seats out of it. Of course, the driver's seat's pretty tore up, but I've had these seat covers. These are new ones, or were new, but I put some of these on when I was in high school, and I found some on eBay and replaced them a few years ago, as after like the whole COVID thing came to an end, and I decided I was gonna put some more time into this truck and get it back on the road and start daily driving it again. And I did for a little while, but it's just the front end's gotten so sloppy on it. Now the fender, this fender's the wrong fender. The holes are mounted too low. It needs to be higher. And then here, I'll show you on the other side. It used to have, so you can see how much higher up it is, but it had this stainless thing on the other side too. And I found some of these on eBay years ago after that fender got damaged, to replace these after I paint it. Of course, over the years, more of the paint has let go on it. Every time I pressure wash it, some more of it comes off. But and then it's got rust marks all over it, and it's because these are from some cheapo magnetic clips that I got off of Amazon. That I put Christmas lights on this with it sitting out in the front yard, and then I got a reindeer with magnets on his feet I put on the hood. So it's kind of like a Christmas decoration, but it's been sitting, not being used for several years now, and it always fires right up and runs fine for me. I think this last time I started it, though, the accelerator pump was a little not wanting to pump, It's a little stiff, a little crusty, but it's got a 360 small block in it, and it's an auto 727 with the full-time 203 transfer case, and then of course it's being a half ton, it's the Dana 44 full-time front end. So it's got the lighting is bad. It's got all-wheel drive. I guess I've always explained it it's kind of like a Subaru. They're four-wheel drive all the time unless you have part-time to them. So I like them all-wheel drive. I feel like they just drive really good. It is you get a little bit of torque steer when you're accelerating in the corner with the wheel turned a little bit further than like going through a curve in a road. So it's like you're in four-wheel drive on a regular rig. It just starts jerking you side to side, but you know, you get used to it. It's just the way the nature of the truck. This is the way they drive. So but yeah, this thing, I need to get the carb cleaned out and get it back on the road. Get new paint on it. Like I said, this fender, I had to replace this fender. I had an incident off-road where it got slid into a tree, and of course it ruined the grill and the fender. I was able to save the core support, thankfully, but this was a fender I had. I tried to get paint matched. It didn't match. Because of course this paint isn't quite the original paint either. It's very similar. It's really close to the color that's inside of the cab. But yeah, I used to have like the shade shifter pinstriping on here, and it's all gone bad. The trim down here used to have the prismatic stuff right here in the middle. It's all bad now, so I can't even show you. But I found all that stuff in one of the local auto parts stores went out of business recently. I went and bought several rolls of it and stuff. So when I do to this truck, I can replace all of that. I made this in high school. I don't have the wire ran right now. I need to put a CB back in here and stuff, but it's got the 8 foot or whatever. I think it's 8 foot. Big old CB antenna. I got one on the other, the Macho too. I don't know if you can see it's like right here. The sun's kind of making it hard to see that, but kind of makes it look like an RC car in a way. But yeah, this was my first V8. It was the first full-size Dodge truck I ever owned. It replaced a let's see, I had a 72 Duster for my first car. Like first car that I actually drove. There's some other cars I played with before I had a license, but this was the first full-size pickup. Not the first four-wheel drive. This is the third one. The first four-wheel drive I had was a Dodge Dakota pickup. It had a bunch of miles on it, and I kind of wish I would have kept it. It had some family history with it and whatnot, but the tranny was giving me problems. I rebuilt it. I didn't really know what I was doing, so I just got fed up with it and sold it. And I've learned from my mistakes over the years, and I know what I did wrong on it now. So kind of wish I would have kept it and figured it out instead of just kicking it down the road, because it was like a salvage title and whatever, but it was still really nice. Dodge Dakota. It was an 87, so it was first year, carbureted, long bed, four-wheel drive, just a standard cab. It was just a reliable truck. It had a bunch of miles on it, but the engine ran really good. It was that V6 with the basically like a 318 with 2 cylinders chopped off of it. But keep hearing all these explosions. It's because it's the 4th of July, so everybody's lighting all their fireworks off already. It's not even dark yet. It's just like a waste of money in my opinion, but you gotta wait till it's dark so you can actually really see them, right? Oh well, not my money. But yeah, so I had the Dodge Dakota, and I got rid of that. I got a Toyota 4Runner, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I got an 80, I think it was an 87, or no, it was an 80, it was an 86, I think it was an 86 4Runner. Anyways, just a 22 RE with a 5-speed, removable top. Took it out wheeling a couple times. It would get stuck on everything, and I didn't want to go through the hassle of putting Chevy running gear and eventually V8ing it and all this other crazy stuff that seems to happen to all those Toyotas. I just didn't want to get into doing all that. So I started looking for a Jeep. I wanted to find like an old CJ or a Wrangler, something cheap. And this popped up for $700. So I ran down and to Eugene and picked this thing up, and well, went and test drove it, and my dad had me drive it, and he's like telling me to punch it and stuff, and I was kind of like, I wasn't really sure what I was feeling, you know, I didn't know what was going on. I wasn't familiar with the V8. This is the first V8 powered something I actually owned, and he was all excited about it, and he's like, we're buying it. I don't care what you think, we're buying it. And so we bought it, and I drove it home. It had a bad wheel bearing and a bad rotor, and a bad headlight was out, and a whole bunch of stuff, and drove it home. Glove box door kept falling open and stuff, and took it to my grandparents' house. It was the first stop we made, and they were actually impressed with it, which was kind of a shocker because they're not like car people, and they don't get excited over this stuff like I do. So that was really cool. They were excited about it. They thought it looked nice. I mean, it did. It looked way better than it does now. I mean, it was shiny. There wasn't all these spots where the paint's falling off of it. So, and again, you know, old age, I took it up in the woods, I played with it and had fun and made a lot of memories in it, and I retired it from playing off-road with it and stuff years ago. And that's why I kind of built the Macho, because it's all kind of banged up and it has trail scars on it and dents and rust, and I put new floor pans in it, and the doors have been hyperextended, you know, where somebody had the door open and they backed up and just ripped the door backwards, and so the doors are all messed up in here. That was a big mortar. I fixed all that, put new floors in it, bed liner in the floor, painted the inside of it and all that stuff, which I'll do a video on that truck later. But and then I've, you know, of course, like everything, I put a hot rod engine in it. I've been having carburetor problems. The off-road carburetors don't like to run correctly on it, and it just, I've spent so much time trying to make it be happy with the off-road carburetor, and it doesn't like it. It likes street carbs, like performance hot rod, what you put on your muscle car carburetors, because the engine is a little too built. So but it's got, you know, we'll talk about that one when I talk about that truck later. So unfortunately, it just hasn't been used either. It's just been sitting. So maybe that'll change someday soon. We'll see. I'm trying to get caught up. That's what I'm doing with my summer break here from driving school bus. So hopefully I'll get some videos made here while you know, fixing some of these things, getting back on the road. But yeah, so this is the original Power Wagon. Started it all. I got this thing, took it out wheeling. It doesn't have lockers. It doesn't have anything crazy. I geared it down in my senior year of high school to 410s. Give it just a little bit more gearing advantage with the 35s. And the only time I've had it stuck is when it's been completely buried to the frame in a swamp. So, and I mean, I've never done anything crazy off-road, so it's not saying a lot necessarily, but I've had a lot of good times, and it's just done really well for me. So fell in love with them, and I had several others before the ones that I've started to collect. This went through several phases. It had 3/4 ton running gear under it for a while. It had a 440 in it for a while, and it's come back around. I put the 360 back in. I built that, rebuilt it in college, and when the 440 started having problems, I just threw the 360 back in it because it was sitting there ready to go, and I just decided to leave it alone. So it's just kind of like old man retired truck now, even though I'm not an old man yet. But I do want to fix the rust. Here, I'll show you the rust. This fender actually has no rust in it, and the fender that got wrecked actually had a big split in it there, so that was kind of a, you know, whatever. This piece of trim, it's like been wrecked over here at one point. They drilled the holes in the wrong spot, so that's something that needs fixed. Of course, there's some, you know, rust here, rust there. I think there's some bubbles, maybe. Yeah, there's some bubbles starting up here. The biggest problem this truck's had, which is this side, I don't know if you're gonna really be able to tell. There's rust in here, and I can't remember. I think this is, yeah, it's all Bondo. There's like screen door mesh and stuff in there. That's the worst rust on the bed, is these wheel wells, these wheel lips. Really common on the Dodges. Actually, it's really common on a lot of stuff, but this side has progressively gotten really bad. It used to just have some bubbles, but it's really bulged out and come through here, split open. I can actually, there's a spot in here, or maybe it's on the other side. The inner wheel tub is, yeah, I think the other side. There's actually a hole where I can get through and touch the outer wheel well. I want to cut all this out, and when I do, I'm going to put like big notches in the inner wheel tub, so this has room for all the dirt to get out, because these get full of dirt and they just rust out really bad. Other common spots, these front corners, but this one's really good. Let's see, I think I got a little bit of rust on the edge of the door here. Probably when I added the stainless trim. I found these later on and put them on because it didn't have them. And then, you know, common front fender issue there. These doors are pretty good on the outer skin. There's some little bubbles, I think, starting. I might, if I put the camera at the right spot. I don't know. I might have to skin the bottoms of the doors and stuff. I don't know. And I want to do this one really. I want to do it right, because I want this truck to stay around forever. So, of course, it's got holes in the floor. They all have holes in the floor, it seems like. Some of them don't, but unless they've got new floor. But this one, I did do a floor patch on this, on the passenger side here, with a piece of a refrigerator skin at one point, because it was big enough you could put your heel through it. But the driver's side's got a couple holes that are like 1/2 inch diameter or so, and they've never really gotten any bigger, because I took all the carpet or the rubber floor mat that has the padding under it that these come with, took that out and threw it away, and I just never did anything with the floor, and it just staying dry, or being able to dry off quickly. It has kept it from getting a whole lot worse. So I've had this truck since I was 17. I'm now 35 in about another 6 months. So, yeah. So, yeah, I've had it for a while. This one's not going anywhere. I've had a lot of people try to buy it. Not for sale. So, someday I will make videos tearing this down and replacing the rust and getting everything cleaned up, and just make it as good as I can again, and put some new paint on it and get it back together. But I think here, before our summer break's over, I think I'm going to try to get this over to my shop around the corner, and maybe get the ball joints and the wheel bearings done, and clean up the carb, and try to get this thing back road ready, so I can drive it, you know, here and there, back and forth to work, instead of driving these lovely modern trucks that I have. I've fallen into the habit of just jumping in the modern stuff because it's there and it runs and drives. Funny thing is both of those trucks need ball joints, and I'm sure that one, the blue one, definitely needs wheel bearings, and I'm suspicious of my new Power Wagon needing wheel bearings also. That one's going to get a lift, and it's got 35s on it now. I'm going to do like 2 more inches of lift and 37s. So, and I picked up some used step bars for it the other day, but factory Dodge ones. But I want to build the heavy duty ones that go from tire to tire, and they go right to the frame. So, you know, the real deal rock sliders for that truck someday. And I'll probably try to video that. I don't know. I'm not too crazy about videoing everything. I like to just get to work and get it done, and dancing around a camera can be a pain sometimes, but when it works out, my girlfriend will she'll be able to jump in there and record some of this stuff while it's going on. More exciting stuff, not all this tedious little boring stuff. I mean, I'm sure some people enjoy it, but it's really just a bunch of fast forward content, you know, when I edit the video. But yeah, so here it is. The original truck, the original Power Wagon that started it all. It came with that bumper too. A lot of people say it's not a factory Dodge bumper. It is a factory Dodge bumper. It came on this truck. I don't know, not from 75, but you know, if there's a Pentastar on the marker license plate lights, and I know under here somewhere there's a Pentastar stamped in it somewhere. I've seen it before when I've sanded this down and repainted it. These are commonly seen on the late 80s trucks, like first gens and stuff. But yeah, came on the truck, fits really nice. It's my favorite bumper, and I try to put them on all of them. I've got one on my club cab that's got the Cummins in it too. But had a big winch bumper. Actually, it had this winch bumper on it when I got it. But yeah, that's about, I mean, not much has really changed. The OG Power Wagon, one that started the addiction, and the one I'll have until the day I die. It'll just be a whole lot prettier someday, and hopefully it'll end up in a museum or something when I'm not here to take care of it anymore. But yeah, that's Little Green. Hopefully that wasn't too boring. So if it's entertaining, cool. I got like 30 more trucks to take videos of, so there'll be plenty more. So anyways, till next time, thanks for watching, guys.